Hi YouTube, welcome back. This is Jacob Graham for Sysadmin Syndicate. Today we're going to take a look at Sophos UTM, or Unified Threat Management Device, and what that offers. It's actually one of the best UTMs I've seen, and I'm really excited to do this video. Here we have Seth Ainsley, who's another Sysadmin network admin. He's more on the Cisco side. Say hi, Seth.
Hi.
So without further ado, let's take a look. Welcome back, guys. So here we're going to take a look at Sophos UTM, which you can see in front of you. Now, I really like Sophos UTM for a bunch of reasons, and it's great that we have Seth Ainsley here today, because Seth Ainsley is pretty close to a CCNP at this point, which is a very high-level Cisco cert.
Getting there anyways.
Yeah. So he currently holds a CCNA and almost an MCSA in 2012, like myself. So he's a really good guy to come and talk to you guys about this. And so here we're going to take a look at Sophos UTM 9. Now, if you don't know what a UTM is an acronym, and it stands for Unified Threat Management. And this UTM device is completely free and has all the paid features that you would normally you'd pay for if you were to buy an actual Sophos UTM, but completely free. But you can only have up to 50 IPs. So this is great for us guys who like to build our own UTMs. Now, it is the most secure UTM I've ever seen. Just before we get into a little bit and we let Seth kind of explain a few things about different things that it can do, I just want to let you guys know that I've been using UTMs like Smoothwall and pfSense and IPFire and Untangle for a long time. And this was one of the harder ones to configure, but had the best and most polished GUI. There was actually an article that it nailed it perfect before I tried it, and it actually said that exact thing. It's really hard to get some of the rules going, because by default it blocks everything, but that is perfect, and it's much more secure than a lot of, we're just going to adjust the mic there, a lot of other free UTMs that you can get out there. So let's take a look. First of all, this is the dashboard. You can come into here, and you can basically get an idea of everything that's going on in your network. It'll tell you how many IPS 0 attacks on block. That's the intrusion protection system. It'll tell you also the antivirus, how many different viruses or spam emails are blocked. It'll also tell you if anti-spyware or different URLs have been filtered. I'm surprised it says 0 right now, actually.
Yeah, I was just a little curious, because
we were
actually doing some testing on this yesterday, and in fact,
now I'm just going to use the admin account that I've left default. You want to change your default admin account or disable it as soon as you get in there. But another thing that's weird is I've noticed is sometimes you can't click on the button unless you click on the actual login part. Just throwing that out there if you guys want to check it out and you're wondering why you can't click on the login button. But Seth, finish your thought there if you can.
Okay. That's all right. I wanted to touch on something that you said earlier, though. You were mentioning that that this UTM is a little harder to configure than other UTMs you've used, and I just wanted to say, that's always a sign of a great product, is when it's, in my opinion, it's a strange thing to say, but when it's hard to configure, when it takes a lot of effort to make sure it's working right and doing what you need it to do, that's when you know that it's doing what you need it to do, because you've spent that time configuring it, you've had to delve into it, and you've really discovered the capabilities of it. And I mean, as we go through it here, we can clearly see it's got a lot of capabilities for free UTM. I believe you said that it's free for home use up to 50 users, Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this will give you an idea too. It'll tell you, this is how I figured out how to get torrenting working. When I first got this going, guys, torrents didn't work, Steam didn't work, Origin didn't work, nothing worked. And basically, this video won't cover too much about how to actually set this stuff up. But basically what I wanted to say is, if you do run into different problems like that, this is where you're going to come in and see, oh, that's the torrent program that my torrent application's using. You go in there, you look at the connections, and you see what port it's using, and you make sure that that port isn't getting blocked. It will probably by default. But you'll see it in here. As you can see, this one says :80. That means that's the port they tried to come in on. So if you see here, this actually says 56. So that's something that tried to reach out to one of my computers at that port, and it got blocked. The default action was dropped for that TCP packet.
Not sure why that's happening, actually. It doesn't really make sense, because it seems like I don't know why you would be getting random TCP reset packets sent to you from two different IPs. Looks like maybe you had an open connection to the website already, and And I would suspect it blocked it because it saw no reason for the reset packets to be coming back through. So I mean, it's little things like that that this UTM just helps with, avoid excess trafficking and everything. You don't need, there's no need for the excess traffic to be processed by the network cards and various PCs. Everything saves a little bit of might end up saving a little bit of performance in the network, and of course, I mean, you're going to have incredibly enhanced security with this device.
Yeah.
So, and considering it's free for home use up to 50 users, and probably.
Let's say that again about the hardware requirements.
And exceptionally reasonable hardware requirements as well. I think you were mentioning that the requirements are around just sort of a dual core processor, and it was using maybe about 2 or 4 gigabytes of RAM. Oh yeah, it looks like 64% of 2 gigabytes of RAM. So you know, we can run this on any old server, and of course it comes the way you install it is simply via an ISO. So you can either burn it to a disk, or if you're going to run it in a virtual environment, you just spin up a VM, plug in the ISO, and go away with it. I think
away you go.
What Linux OS is it based on?
I think it's a homebrewed Linux OS.
It's a homebrew. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I could be wrong about that. If I am, guys, please let me know in the comments. One of the cool things too, I thought we'd just go through all the stuff here. So here's the main dashboard. You can come in here and you can actually see what you actually want to see. Now some things I pretty much checked everything pretty well. Yeah, looks like I have. But you don't actually see everything here by default. You just see the main stuff at the top. I'm still playing around with it, so I wanted to see everything that comes in here. Now, if you go into management here, you get to see all the different accounts that are logged in, what they're doing, how many different sessions they've had, just like as if you were logged into a terminal server or a computer or something like that. You can have different sessions.
Absolutely.
Moving right along, I don't want to show you organization, guys, because that has my email in it. But that's basically the name of the device. I can change it anytime I click apply, but I'm going to keep it as it is. And here we also have the date, which is very important, obviously. Different certificates and stuff like that can line if your router's wrong.
And of course, the absolute key reason that all of your network devices should be synchronized with time, ideally with a local NTP server, is of course for logging, so that you know exactly when attacks are happening, and that there's no discrepancy in time across devices.
Great point, great point. And we've gone and we've disabled shell access, of course. Actually, that's the default, of course, because it's secure as heck. It's like a tinfoil hat, basically. I thought I would jump ahead a little bit. You guys might really appreciate this. Now, most UTMs come with Clam AV. Clam AV is a good antivirus, all things considered. However, it is much better to go with one of the top tier antivirus solutions. So I'm just going to see here. Hey guys, I just wanted to stop the video because we're having trouble finding that part where you could choose your different antivirus. So it's under System Settings under the Management tab. If you come into Dashboard here, you'll find it right under Management, System Settings. And what you'll be able to do is go into the Scan Settings and switch from Avira to Sophos. Now, if you do this, it will take down your internet, or possibly could take down your internet for a short period of time. So just keep mindful of that. It only took us about a minute or two, but we did have to reshoot this video as a result. But yeah, in here you can actually choose if you want Avira or Sophos. Now by default, of course, they will be on Sophos, but this is a great idea. If you do want to switch it to something else, you can. And Avira is a great antivirus engine. So here's the iCar test site. It's coming up kind of funny after we switch it to Avira. Which isn't Avira's fault. It's just a funny hiccup that you guys probably are familiar with if you're downloading an advanced product like this. But if you go and decide to download an iCar file, you'll get a message like this: iCar test signature. This is what happens when I tried to download the text file that had the column in it. So you will get blocked and it won't let you download it, and it'll tell you it's blocked. It works just as well as the Sophos solution. So I just wanted to show you guys, here it is, finally loaded up, blocked. So it's a very good idea to consider both test engines and possibly switch to either or if you see that one's doing better in virus pulls. Thanks guys for watching, and let's go back to the main video.
Incredibly robust software, especially to be available for free for home use.
Yeah, my only thought was I hope it lasts, right?
Exactly.
You know, they might take this away from us and I'll cry. But I got a license valid to 2018, they said. So, and that's the other thing. If you guys come in here, you go into licensing, you can see I own all this stuff until 2018, all these things. So they might take it away, but I'm good until then. But yeah, as you can see, there's all this different stuff that comes with it. So using Sophos as your is your UTM is a good idea if you're just using it at home. And in fact, if I were to go and fire up, Firefox is the one I test content and stuff like that. So let's see here. If we go and we fire up, you guys can't see my right side of my screen, so let me just. So if I try to go actually look at porn, it'll get blocked. But one of the things I wanted to show you guys is if you're planning on using this for business, you won't be able to. That sucks, I know. And maybe you will. Depends how you feel about this. But I think most admins would agree you do not want your clients to see this message.
Absolutely. Yeah, it just comes across as pretty unprofessional.
You don't want that. So as you can see, it'll tell you blocked category pornography. And by default, like I said earlier, I believe I said anyway, it does block COMs, EXEs, and basic file types. Now, if I were to try to go download a virus, there's a site I use called iCar. And this is a great website, guys, because you can go here and get safe virus files downloaded to just test your antivirus. So these are these are COM files, text files, zip files, and double zip files, I believe. And then also you can download them in SSL. Now, because I haven't set up they call it an Untangle HTTPS inspector, which basically does a man-in-the-middle attack in order to gain, in order to encrypt, decrypt and then re-encrypt your traffic. It basically does, like I said, a man-in-the-middle attack in order to scan stuff downloaded from SSL. So if you do download a virus from SSL and you don't have this configured, you'll be screwed. But a lot of other things out there don't provide this ability. At the time that I last checked, I don't think pfSense or Smoothwall offered those. Only Untangle and things from Cisco would allow those features. But check out what actually happens if I try to download a COM file now. If you install this by default, you need to be careful because you're going to get a block message, but it's not going to say that this has an infected virus. It's going to say, I don't allow COM files. And you might think, oh, it's blocking viruses. If you're going to do a real test, you want to make sure that you understand that by default, it's going to block you from downloading EXEs, COM files, and you have to go in and allow them. I like that approach. I really do, because once you get that all working, it's beautiful. So it says, the item you've requested is infected by a virus. It'll not be downloaded. So that'll tell you too, like what's doing it. Right down here is what I like to look at too if I want to know exactly what's doing it. It says powered by UTM web protection. So if I wanted to allow that to happen, not that you would, you'd come into here and you'd find the setting in here. But I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's definitely handy. I mean, especially just to be able to, you know, sort of plug and play for that sort of aspect.
Yeah.
Seems. Endpoint protection, I don't think we have available because of the license.
No, you don't.
So unfortunately, I'm wondering, is site-to-site VPN available with your license?
Yes, I believe it is. Hold
on. SSL.
Pretty sure you can still do. Yep.
Can you do SSL VPN? That's pretty handy. So you can just build an SSL VPN here and pull up your laptop when you're out and just VPN into your home network.
That's right. Like that. That's right. Now, if you guys don't know what a VPN is, that stands for Virtual Private Network.
Basically, what a VPN is simply a way to access a network remotely. So it's usually a secured tunnel over the public internet, accessing a private network.
Mm-hmm. And there it looks like we have remote access, which is a cool technology that I've seen in Windows done, and I believe it's also available in Cisco. But it basically gives you an always-on connection to into a network.
Yeah, more VPN options simply.
And it's a much more robust one though, but it's also harder to configure.
And it even has a Cisco VPN client.
Yes, that's another thing to point out. It supports HTML5 VPNs, which I don't even know what that is. I guess it's just like a web interface.
Let's take a look at the Cisco VPN client there. I'm interested in that. Of course, the Cisco guy, because of course we can easily set up a Cisco VPN. If we have a router or an ESA5505, we can just we can even use CCP just to quickly fire up a VPN connection on one end. Use Cisco Easy VPN. And then fire up the client on this end. Get the settings, and looks like would just be pretty easy to get going. So, fabulous integration, fantastically robust.
Now, if you hit, it's so secure too. Like if you hit refresh, it'll log you out no matter what.
That's quite handy.
So I'm going to log in as myself because that's another user I have.
I think you clicked on the...
I think I did too. As you can see, you got to be careful where you click with that button.
No doubt.
They'll probably fix that because it's kind of silly.
That would get pretty frustrating after a while, I'd have to think.
Yeah, it doesn't bug me that much, but I'm pretty sure they'll fix it.
Yeah.
So here you can come into here and look at like just basic information in graph form. Here's the hardware logs. Here tells you basic information. Seth, do you want to explain this?
We did have a spike a little while ago. Looks like about 10 o'clock last night. It went up to about 50% CPU usage, but mostly doesn't seem to go above 20% most of the time. Memory usage is a consistent 55 at least, spiking up to 75 fairly regularly. And yeah, partition usage of course staying the same, not gonna go up with nothing being added.
Is that around the same time? It looks like we had a high network traffic too.
It definitely looks like it. 55.24 megabits per second. That's an interesting one. So I wonder what was going on at that time.
Yeah, probably I was just downloading something, but I would if I was concerned about that, I would just come into here, view log files, and I would open up, or is it intrusion prevention system? This is still logging, so I could go into here, and as we showed you before, I'm just getting blocked. Always allow pop-ups from this done. We're going to click that again. We're going to go back to it. Intrusion prevention system. And what this is going to do, and this is going to give us an actual log, so we can control it, come into here and hit Control F and see, you know, search for a certain word, and we can go and we can look through the actual log if we were interested. So essentially, you know, you get a lot of choices. You can look at the live log, which gives you a lot of, you know, flexibility if you're trying to troubleshoot an issue. But this will give you historical data on what's going on with your router or your networking device.
Oh, there we go. So, no, yep, this is all very, very recent. It looks like, but
yeah, and it will decide on its own, like most routers too, how long it's going to keep logs, because it doesn't want you to fill up your log partition. This actually makes its own partition for logs, which is cool. And I think it also makes a temperature log when you install it. And you want to make sure, guys, if you're going to install this, if you guys are still watching, because this is a longer video, you want to make sure that you're going and choosing, not the hardware appliance, you're choosing the software appliance ISO, or you will not get this installed, because I downloaded the wrong one and it wasn't very helpful. If you guys want to see how to get this, go to their website or just search free UTM and you'll find it. You'll have to sign up for it, and Sophos guy will call you and try to sell you Sophos, but he just nicely, they're not very pushy at all. They're local to Canada. I've actually been to their headquarters in Vancouver and took a picture because I thought it was cool. They're definitely top tier antivirus. I think they did pretty poor for January, but they did really good in February for their antivirus tests.
Actually, there's some students in my program who have been hired by Sophos, or actually interviewed by Sophos, I should say. So they're definitely growing as a company. So
I think they've been around for a long time. I could be wrong
absolutely.
about that.
No, I believe they have.
Yeah.
But they seem to be especially growing lately. So
now here we take a look at WAFs. Have you heard of that term before?
Not.
Web application firewalls.
Okay.
They're completely a joke in security, but a lot of people insist on them because they feel like they're more secure. But any true hacker, because I watch a lot of DEF CON stuff, they'll tell you web application firewalls are just... I heard one guy, he's really funny, he's very enthusiastic black guy, and he does really good videos and DEF CON tutorials. And he was going nuts. He was like, I thought he was really funny. He said in one, I can't remember his name right now. Somebody in the comments might know. But basically, he was like, does anybody here support a WAF, a web application firewall? And everybody, everybody looked around, and only a couple people raised their hand. And he goes, okay, I feel really sorry for you guys, because you're always getting blamed for stuff, and it's just not your fault. Because how does a WAF stop anything? It's an application layer firewall. So it's not the best, but these basically give you the ability to secure web servers, and they provide like another filter in between.
It's never a bad thing to have another filter usually, but you can only do so much. And some things are just not going to help. So.
And here we take a look at Sophos Red. Now, in most UTMs, firewalls, etc., red refers to an interface. There's a green interface and there's a red interface. A green is your LAN, your red interface is your WAN. In this case, that's not what it is. Sophos Red, they say it reinvents branch office security. Which problem does Red solve? If your business has many small branch offices, e.g. Travel, agencies, retail stores, gas stations, etc., then you need an easy and affordable way to connect them back to the headquarters and keep their internet access secure. That's where Red takes your life, makes your life a lot easier. So what is Red? Sophos Red Remote Ethernet Device is what Red stands for. Is the first security gateway requiring no local setup. If its complete configuration is done via UTM located at your central office and automatically distributed to the Red interface. So I haven't actually played around with this, but it sounds very cool. It seems like a way that you can manage it. Do you have any thoughts on this, Seth?
It seems like an interesting idea. It doesn't seem like something that's activated for you as a free home user, but definitely
go back to it.
Definitely looks like an interesting possibility. I mean, they make it sound like something that's reinventing it, but I mean, it's really not.
I think you can turn it on.
Oh.
See?
Well, you have to get rid of that because your email there.
I think you can turn it on, but we just discovered that it'll totally show my email. So we're not going to turn it on, but you actually can, it looks like. It's just not enabled by default.
Yeah, and so it does look like an interesting idea, since we can, you know, as they say, throw a UTM in the mail to them and have it basically act as like an Ethernet tunnel back to the home office. But they sort of make this seem like a very unique thing for Sophos Red, and it's really not. You know, this Cisco has solutions for this. Every company has a solution for this, so this is nothing unique.
However, you would not find something like this in something that was free, like Untangle.
No, absolutely not. This is a fantastic thing to have in a free product, and it's just, you know, important to keep in mind what is, you know, what's actually being touted as, you know, reinventing branch office security might not be quite reinventing it so much.
Yeah, it might just be marketing for sure.
But it's, you know, it's definitely a handy thing to have. I can't deny that.
So here we have wireless protection. Another thing that I don't think this one is supported at all. Looks like it is. The reason I can't enable it though is because I don't have a wireless card plugged into here.
Oh, you have to have a wireless card actually plugged into.
I'm not sure. I haven't read about it actually. Sophos UTM wireless protection by the operation of secure and reliable wireless networks. The solution consists of configuration lists, so you don't have to configure them. Access points, which can be centrally managed via UTM acting as a wireless controller.
So it looks like what we're looking at here is not compatibility with existing hardware. But we'd have to purchase Sophos UTM compatible wireless configuration-less access points, and which we could integrate with Sophos UTM and manage using UTM as the actual wireless controller for them. See, which would be handy, but of course it's not something really very practical for a home deployment, unless, you know, you're a real networking nerd and want to just buy a bunch of Sophos gear and, you know, deploy wireless full mesh all through your house. Hey, why not?
Yeah,
I've done crazier things. I've done far crazier things.
Speaking of mesh, we also have the option for mesh networks. I've actually never done mesh.
Well, I think we've pretty much touched on most elements of the product.
You guys can see there's a lot of different features in here. You guys are going to have to come in here and take a look. You guys get a lot of different flexibility here. I really recommend that you guys check this out. Let me know what you guys think of the video. Please rate and subscribe, and thank you for watching.